Hey, what's up everyone? It's Onepeg. So, this video is going to be about how to farm the troll boss in High Roller, now that High Roller's free, using a warlock naked with only a gray or equivalent spellbook. Now, to start, you want to go into this room. I'll pull up a map. You're going to run over by this elevator shaft that was on my right and go down to the bottom of the stairwell. That's the easiest way to find it. Get to that room with all of the big wooden trusses, all of those walkways, and then head down to the very bottom, look for the elevator shaft, and run down that ramp. Now, he's got a couple of interesting moves. Really only one that he does in this version that he doesn't do in the others. There's two total effects that I could tell that were different by running around to his left side like I normally have been doing. The shout now ends up disorienting you. You get like that drunken effect that you get from the bats or from drinking booze or whatever. You get that kind of like that disoriented effect from the shout now. It kind of messes up your eardrums. Maybe he's got really bad breath. I don't know. But in this, there's a couple of things that I didn't mention before. Notice I get hit by the shout here, but I range it out. So if you're really good, you have the ability to just range out those attacks. If you're able to stay like kind of in the mid-range and jabate out that swing, you can kind of distance it if you're good at that. I'm not good at that. So instead, I opt for luck and using Phantomize. Phantomize is your friend in this, even though I don't have it right now. It's your friend because if you end up getting shouted at, as long as you don't do like 2 in a row, you can end up eating one because you can Phantomize and it'll just swing through your body and you don't end up actually taking any damage. I'm stacking dots on him for good reason. I don't want to be low on HP because every once in a while you'll take a radiating hit from him smashing on the ground, and you don't want that to just instantly kill you, and having full life obviously helps with not instantly getting clapped. One of the things that I forgot to mention in my last video when I was doing this with a rogue was that he, if he charges you, has 2 potential attacks that he does. One is at ankle height that you can jump over, and the other one is at chest height. However, it's not really easy to differentiate between the two. So what I would do, if I were you, would be to use your short cast time wind-ups like Power of Sacrifice and Curse of Pain, and use those if he ends up doing the shouts, and then save Hellfire for when he ends up doing a swing. And I would also highly, highly recommend that you get a kill or 2 under your belt, or get a little bit of gold, and get some Spellbooks. Because Spellbooks work out way better than staves, and I can show you why. There are 3 reasons why the Spellbook is more beneficial, and we'll go through those. You can farm the troll with a staff. I have done it. I have shown people that you can do it on stream. It is difficult, but it is absolutely doable. It's just that the timings are significantly tighter to be able to pull it off. The Spellbook will give you a lot more cushion. So on the left, we have the staff, and on the right, we have the Spellbook. The hand is ready to fire, and on the left, the staff is ready to fire. Both of these are naked. Caveat of the one on the right has a white Spellbook, which has no additional stats, and there's also a falchion in the offhand. Other than that, both sides on this are both completely naked. The left side just has the starter kit, and on the right side, I put a Spellbook in his hand. There is no difference other than that. Now, obviously, the move speed penalty on the Spellbook is more beneficial. You just move faster holding a Spellbook otherwise versus that of a staff. So that's reason number 1. But failing all of that, moving forward from this point, by frame, this is frame 0, then we go to frame 1, and you can see that's where the cast animation begins. If we forward out a handful of frames, we get over to here. This is where the HP penalty is realized, therefore the spell is cast. It costs the 4 hit points. You can see the little wedge missing right there on the hand. We go back and forth right there. And then we advance this out again, and the staff finally realizes its HP penalty right there. So the difference between these two is 11 frames on a 60 FPS recording. That is a difference of 182.6 milliseconds slower to use the staff than that of your hand to just get a spell cast off. Moving forward from here, we then have the recovery animation. So the spell is cast, and then after that, the hand has to come back. The staff has to be raised up to your person in order for you to gain full mobility again. So on the right side, we have the hand retracting, and then right about here, you then begin your ramp up to be able to move fully. We then move forward from here to where the staff recovers, and then once the staff is vertical, right about there is when you actually start to regain that ramp up. 26 frames on this recording on a 60 FPS video. That is a difference of 431.6 milliseconds. 431.6 on the recovery animation. So that is the major difference between the two, is the half a second or so worth of time it takes for you to be able to get full movement speed back once you've cast your spell. So anyway, you keep on kind of just DPSing him away. You get to the point where, boom, he falls over. And that was the entire fight. I just kind of narrated, talked to you guys through the whole thing. This was 2.5 minutes from just about start to finish. Now, one of the cheeky things that I like to do is this. Once the character model for these guys are dead, at least for the time being, there is no clipping. So once they ragdoll into the ground, and yes, I realize that the ragdoll animations and where they ultimately end up is client side. However, the game does try to do its best job syncing up exactly where it is that you end up. So, if you are savvy, you can walk up to the middle of their chest and take a seat and listen. Now, I realize that I'm kind of sort of popular in the Dark and Darker community, but I don't think I'm so overly popular that everyone would likely see this. So for all of you that are now in the know, congratulations, you're in the know. You can sit inside of his chest, your body, none of your character model will show. However, the animations, like that mist that was popping up above his chest, I think do show, but people have not so far been smart enough to be able to check that body. I don't know what collision is like. If they cast spells at it, maybe the collision hits. If they try to cast arrows, maybe it hits the mesh of their body or whatever. I don't really know. They can slash through it, though. So the skin does have some amount of collision with weapons, but for right now, doesn't have any collision with you as a player, so you can kind of clip through the body and hide. Anyway, that'll give you like a little bit of a competitive edge. You're welcome. You go down to the bottom, obviously loot all the goodies out of the little cave here, out of the treasure trove. Oh, wow, one magical healing. Who would have thought? And from here, you try to run out and find yourself a portal out. What I have noticed in High Roller is that for the most part, people are pretty cool. They tend to want to work together, especially toward the end if you're still alive, to escape. Because there's like 2 or 3 portals, and there's a lot of good loot, and no one really wants to put it at risk. They tend to hide. So even with this circle here, there's like another 3 portals that will come up. Sometimes you can get really, really unlucky with portal location, and you end up kind of screwed, but you really aren't wasting that much gold. In this case, I want to say that the end result of this run was something like plus 300 that I ended up making as a result of killing the troll and looting the stuff and getting out, and that isn't even on like market-related stuff. It was like 240 gold worth of just sellables in treasure to the vendor because you get a lot of green and blue quality gems and whatnot.
Brother, I'm friendly.
One thing that I will say about this, though, is that you don't end up getting any kind of like legendary level items. The best you're going to end up getting off of this is purples. So just kind of be aware of that. As I'm opening up this portal here, I actually had a super close call because on my left there is a rogue rushing me, and they actually end up yoinking the portal because I backed off. I got really lucky because I think they were trying to go for a killing hit, but they didn't. I didn't get clapped. He would have 3-shot me if I had let him get the hits in. But we still ended up living. We got to another portal, and we got out, and we were able to sell it all off. Anyway, that's what I have for this one, guys. Thanks so much for coming and checking it out. If you wouldn't mind, please subbing the channel here if you're not already a sub. I'm trying to make a whole bunch of these types of guides for people that are looking for information on how to do this a little bit better, a little bit more efficient, make a little bit more gold. And obviously, there is the potential that the devs could end up changing stuff, but they can see all the statistics for the player base. And if they're going to change something, they were going to do it anyway, so you might as well get paid while you can. You know what I'm saying? Thanks so much for coming and checking it out, guys. Love you all. Please come by and check out the Twitch streams. I'm live every day around 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you tomorrow. Maybe if you're feeling keen, come by and say hi. And thank you again for lending me your eyeballs. You guys are amazing. You're changing my life every single time you end up watching one of these. You guys are amazing. We'll see you in the next one, okay? Peace.